Writing a good essay that should capture the attention of the examiner till the very end, who is taking about hundreds of copies per day, is a very difficult task. Your essay needs to be interesting, it should have examples, data, facts, anecdotes, etc. Because let's face it, for the examiner, it's just another copy. But for us, with a little bit of more effort, we can get very good marks in our essay. So in this video, let us see how to get a good essay with a proper introduction, body and conclusion. Firstly, you need to make a list of all the expected topics for essay. This you can do by analyzing the previous year question papers. Topics such as women, education, health, war, social media, technology, all these are repeated in the previous year question papers, so prepare for these topics. You can gather quotes for all the expected topics based on the analysis of the previous year question papers. Take quotes of Mahatma Gandhi, Rabindranath Tagore or Nelson Mandela, Mother Teresa. So basically all important notable personalities, their quotes you prepare beforehand so that you can drop it not just in the introduction but here and there throughout the essay. So nextly, let's go to the fictional story. NCERT is the best source to get certain fictional stories as well as real stories, especially in the social science textbooks of high school and even PU. In the starting, there will be certain stories. For example, I had used a story of Sudha Goyal. It is a real story that happened in 1980 of Lakshman Kumar versus the Delhi administration case, where Sudha Goyal had faced domestic violence. So this case is a good example for your introduction if the essay is regarding any violence against women. Similarly, there was one more story also in the social science textbook of class 10th, I guess. So it was about the Kosovo conflict. There was an ethnic conflict with the Albanians in Yugoslavia. So whenever if there was any essay on war or about conflicts, then I would use this portion as my introduction to explain, because if you use any recent wars that are happening, almost everyone who picks up this topic will use this example. So if you use something that happened in history, which is a little rare example, it will be very attractive for the examiner to read about your essay. It will be different. It can capture the examiner's attention. So use such. You go through the social science textbooks of various NCERTs, you will find very good examples. So nextly, let's move to the anecdotes. Anecdotes you can get from the newspaper, which is a very good source for anecdotes. Also, you'll be able to get it from various websites. For example, in the UNICEF websites, you will get good examples of child labor, which you can drop in your essay in your introduction. Similarly, in UN women websites also you will get anecdotes of women. So you can use all this in your introductions. Then if you don't get any of this, then you can use data from any report telling that this was the data from so and so report which was released by so and so organization. You can also use that in your introduction. And also note that if there is some conflicting topic in the essay, you can write both the examples for both positive as well as the negative part, that is pros and cons. Like healthcare, if there is an example, you can write the introduction part of which is something positive that happened about healthcare example, and secondly something which is negative. So finally you can tell that how contradicting this is. So like that you can proceed with your essay. Coming to the actual body of the essay, the structure of the essay, you can have about 2 to 3 paragraphs per page. So this will help make a proper division of your paragraphs in every page. So it is very pleasant. Then if you want to use side headings, use at the max 2 or 3 subheadings in the entire essay. Don't use more than that. It's okay even if you don't use any subheadings. Don't make it as a general science paper by adding too many subheadings. Then apart from this, while writing the essay, you can write it from either from different perspectives, that is from the social perspective, economic perspective, political perspective, or local aspect, national, international, etc., or from cultural perspectives, or from environmental perspective. You can also bring sports into the picture. So write it from various dimensions. So this is one approach you can use. The second one is when the questions are little, which has both positive as well as negative sides to it. for example social media, or if the question is on technology, etc. So you can write either the pros and cons, that is the boon or the bane, or you can write it like the promises and perils of social media, or you can also use subheadings, catchy subheadings such as the dark clouds around, to write about the cons of social media, and you can say silver linings to tell about the pros of social media. So like that you can divide your essay and into a proper structure. Then apart from this, also use good examples in your essay. Especially if you see every year there is the Padma Award winners. The stories of these Padma Award winners are really interesting, and it will also showcase to the examiner that you are aware of the things that are happening around you. So you can use all these stories. Just don't write the entire story, just write it in a small, like it should fit within one paragraph. You can use these examples. I had used that, for example, the same question, the same essay topic of patience, perseverance, and what was that? Patience, perseverance, and persistence makes unbeatable combination for success. For that, I had used different examples. For the political arena, I used the example of Abraham Lincoln, who after failing for 8 times had become one of the most remembered presidents of USA. Then from the social dimension, I used the example of Popat Rao Pawar, the Sarpanch of Hiware Bazar in Maharashtra, who created a model village which had no BPL families, no alcohol consumption, and there was a green model village. Similarly, I also used the examples of various movies, that is Swadesh, Iqbal, MS Dhoni, The Untold Story. All these movies showcase success. So I also mentioned these. Then apart from this, there was also a Padma Award winner, that is Tulsi Gowda, who had planted about 30,000 trees. So I use this from the environmental perspective. So similarly, and also to understand the proper differentiation of various these perspectives, you can use a underline, double underline, or even box around all these topics, that is environmental, social, political, sports, etc., so that the examiner is aware that you are moving into different dimensions. So that is also a way to write your essay. Apart from this, you can also use data from various reports. For example, if the essay is regarding poverty or regarding education or regarding hunger, you can use data from census data or sample registration survey data. You can always use these data in between to support your answers, which makes your answer more substantial. So that is about the structure of the essay. Now let us see how to prepare the structure of the essay with an example. Like normally before writing the actual essay, there are certain rough papers at the end of the answer booklet where you can use about 2 sheets to prepare a rough structure. This is not the entire essay, just the structure. So if the question is on women empowerment and unfulfilled dream, you can write it from different perspective. How women empowerment is an unfulfilled dream. From an economic perspective, you can tell that wage gap is very high, about 34%. There is pink colorization of jobs. There is glass ceiling at the workplace. Then you can tell that in the 17th Lok Sabha, only 14% are women parliamentarians. So you are writing your points. You are also substantiating it with the proper data. So similarly, go to the political field. So now you are agreeing that women empowerment is an unfulfilled dream in the first half of the essay. Second half, you can tell how there is like women empowerment is still happening. There are positive aspects also there. So you can divide it both the parts. So after the economic aspect, you tell in the political field. You can tell about this Joseph Shine case on adultery. You can also use the Sabarimala case as your example. Similarly, go to the technical field. And in the security field, there was the various gang rapes that happened, the Me Too movement that brought front various challenges faced by women. Similarly, you can go to the social sphere. You can quote data from NCRB or any other data. So this is the structure of the essay. Then comes the second part of the essay where you tell that women empowerment, there is a silver lining. That is, women empowerment is actually happening. To support this, you can tell examples of the 73rd Amendment Act, which provides 33% reservation for women. You can give examples of women athletes such as Hima Das, PV Sindhu, Sakshi Sakshi Malik, etc. Similarly, in space, there is Sunita Williams. In politics, you can give the example of Nirmala Sitharaman or Sushma Swaraj, etc. Then similarly, in environmental field, there is Medha Patkar. So you can also add certain books names also. For example, The Second Sex by Simone de Beauvoir. You can also add all these. Then after writing few things about the conclusion, you can end it in a positive notes by writing 2-3 points of quotes which are more positive in nature. You can tell the Swami Vivekananda's quote that the welfare of the world is impossible unless the condition of women is improved. After all, a bird can't fly with only one wing. So this is like a good thing. You are quoting a famous personality with the positive outlook at the end of your essay. So this will be your structure of the essay. Yeah. So coming to the conclusion part, in conclusion you should always show that you are a positive person. So you should have a progressive outlook in your conclusion. So you can use certain quotes and you can rearrange the words of these quotes and write it in your own words. For example, like do what you can with what you have and where you are. So if it is suitable for the topic, you can use that. Or journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. You can write that. Or you can also use the quote from Rabindranath Tagore, where the head is held high and the mind is without fear. Into that heaven of freedom, my father, let my country awake. You can write that. Or you can also use Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, Sabka Vishwas in your conclusion. So show that you're a positive person. You can just tell this in the words of Mahatma Gandhi. So and so quote, use one of his quotes. So use a number of positive quotes. Keep it beforehand prepared, and you can drop it here and there, and even in the conclusion also. So that's it for today's video. Thank you for watching. See you again in my next video. Bye.